Disney. You heard what happened, right?
No, what?
No.
You guys haven't
What
heard?
happened? No.
See, we're not even 10 seconds in. I can't start talking about keto. You know, big humans that like small humans that I can't talk about them 10 seconds in. Yeah, but seriously, they went all crazy, woke. You know, everybody's a boy girl thing. They went there. That's what it is now. You know what I mean?
I don't understand. I mean,
You're telling me to talk the code, dude.
Being too cryptic.
Understand the code, or we're gonna have to set a preterm code list before we start.
Okay, so is this on the topic?
This went all, whoa. Let's just say that, and it's like gross because it's like kids, you know what I mean? And it's not. It's not kids. But go ahead, Gerard. Welcome everybody.
Hey everybody! What Susan can't say today, because Susan can't say it today because it's gonna get us banned. And ancient knowledge, an ongoing discussion. However, I would say that a part of ancient knowledge might be the acceptance that Disney World is crazy as hell. They've always been involved in like ancient magic, dark magic, weird things, touching big people, touching little people in places big people shouldn't be touching little people. Is that what you're into, Susan?
Yeah, but now they're just like everybody is, you know, everybody can be whatever they want to be. Put 5-year-olds on hormone blockers and yeah. Now they went full that way, and in their next cartoon, they promised there's gonna be a girl kiss. It's a cartoon. Like, why does that have to be in there? What's the importance of that? Like, I don't care if they do that, but why do you got to do it in a cartoon for kids? That's my opinion.
So, actually, believe it or not, this only happens once every 4 or 5 months. But I actually disagree with Susan. I disagree. I actually think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to make it open and available that if that's who you are, then it's comfortable for you to be that. The only place I have a problem is when they try to force it on kids, when they try to push it in your face. Like I kind of think that we do have to make more room for people to be whatever the hell they want to be. Like, I don't really care. You can be an alien, a mermaid, you could be anything you want to be. My problem is when you force it on other people, how to respond to that. You force them to label you a certain thing. You force them to, accept that being taught in schools. I think that I we should be neutral, where it's just like, you know what? Everybody be what you want to be. We don't get two dams, but you're not going to change other people based on what you want to be. Because if so, I'd be Bigfoot.
But I think there's a time and a place for everything. And I think that children are young and impressionable. And I think that we're all programmed because of what we were taught when we were children. So I think it's important for us to monitor and choose as parents and individuals what our children are being taught.
Yeah, I think also.
Because if the environment creates the human, right? Then what kind of fucking environment are we providing right now?
Yeah, I think the perversion and the decadency of the world, we should not teach the children. There's no dignity, there is nothing for them, no hope, like being a mature human being and with all those trash around. It's crazy. It's crazy. I cannot stand it. I mean, I'm in that case, I'm super conservative.
Yes, and if you want to, then go ahead. But there is a time and a place for everything. Like, I like men, I'm not going to make out with them in public. I'm not going to talk about it to children. Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, where I kind of stand that we need to make a world that works for everybody. You know, and I don't think that this movement is any different than any other movement. Because usually what happens is it starts off organic. And after the organic movement is over, then the extremists take over, right? And they don't want equality. They want to rule, right? They want power. They want supremacy. And so, you know, I think what, you know, and we're kind of talking really generalistic. I don't even know the details, but it does seem like that movement has gotten to a point where, you know, the equality march is over and now they want supremacy. And that's the only place I have an issue. Like, I think we need to make room for people to be whatever they want to be and be comfortable to, you know, to be that. Because, you know, you do have circumstances where there are kids that are born and they have both genitals. And then the parent decides that,
That's different.
And that is a extremely low percentage. That's like saying wearing a mask because of an extremely low percentage.
Right. So the problem is, let me finish. The problem is we don't actually know what the percentage is, because that actually is private information, right? That's HIPAA regulated.
Yeah.
And the parents just decided, and one doctor I heard talking about it, the doctor basically said that, you know, the birthing doctor, whatever, just said that this is a lot more common than what we're really willing to accept as a society. And if you pick, you want to and you have the vagina removed, and that, you know, the personality and the mannerisms actually of that person is female, then we just screwed somebody up. And so, like, you know, my position is that we need to kind of, to me, we need to keep ourselves to ourselves. Like, however anybody wants to live, they should be able to do that, and we should make it comfortable for them to do that. You know, again, it's like.
Yeah, I believe that if you're born with both, like man and feminine sex organs, then of course, what is the name? What do you call the name of the kid? That kid must be, because you don't know, is it a he or a she? That is very difficult, and I think it just gets to know what it will be when he's pubering, when he starts pubering. Before he would not know, I think, because a kid is not identified with sex. I think kids are playing with everyone, but when puber age start, then they might feel, oh, I feel more like a woman, or I feel more like a man, and then I think, okay, after that they can have their operation because they're born with two. I mean, what can you do? It's not the fault of the child.
I don't.
That's different than propagating. Like if you play in a kindergarten and the girl plays like a boy and the boy plays like a girl, doesn't mean that the boy wants to be a girl and the girl wants to be a boy. But that's how far it goes, and that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's wrong that. I mean, if I had a kid and they had both, I wouldn't. You know, that would be their decision. I absolutely would not decide for them. And I think that from a behavioral perspective, men and women don't exist, right? From a behavioral perspective, we make men and women. They're artificial, right? We give little girls.
No.
Okay, wait.
We give little. Let me finish my point. We give little boys tanks and guns and cars, and they grow up doing what we artificially create. If you give a little boy a doll, they're going to be different.
Exactly my
and if you give a little tank, they're going to be different. So I think as a society, we got to stop dictating our BS to children. Like this was given to us, you know. So I think that there's a spectrum, like social, because there's a difference between, you know, procreation. You know, you got male and female, and that's definitive. But then you got the social, and it's a spectrum. You know, I know very feminine males, and I know very masculine females, and we need to let those people decide what they want to be, and not let the parent or us dictate that you got to be a man, or you got to be a woman. You know, that's my point.
Okay, I agree with that, but exactly my points. We push our BS on them. So why are we pushing a BS of transgenderism on them? Why are we saying that we need to discuss sex with a 5-year-old? Like, he's
Well,
5.
that's not we. That's not we, right? That's
You have that conversation. That kid, when he asks you questions, you start answering the questions. You
Yes.
don't not answer them and say you wait till you get older. They're 5, if they're 7, they're 8. But they ask you. And if they ask a teacher, the teacher should call you, not answer the question.
Yeah,
And
true.
I'm sorry, that's how
So
I
that-
feel. And
I agree. on
answer
that.
in an age-appropriate way. You don't start showing them pornographic pictures and shit.
No, you
You
don't
know
do
what I
that.
mean? And this
Right.
is my and sorry, guess what? Natural law, one of the natural laws of life universe is gender. Everything is male or female. That's Native
Yeah, true.
Americans, that's Aboriginals, that's everybody in
Actually isn't
ancient times. Everything is
It's
male,
the entire
everything is
East.
masculine or feminine.
Everything in
A
Eastern
rock,
and
a
in Eastern
tree.
philosophy is 2 genders.
Yes.
The yin and
Right.
yang, masculine
You
and
have to
feminine.
have
everything
polarity
from
for
that.
life to even exist. You have to have dark and you have to have light. You have to have
But-
low, you have to have high. They're the same thing at opposite ends. A cell to exist needs a negative and a positive charge. Sorry, that's my
Yeah, but the vagina is not negative and the penis is not positive. Okay, these are constructs, right? In nature, you have flags that switch between genders, right? You have human beings that can switch between genders. We like black and white because we're very simple-minded. Our society is very simple-minded, where everything has to be positive and negative, and it has been. It's always been a spectrum all over the place, but we try to make
Still,
things definitive
yeah.
because it fits the bucket. Things in.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but
opposite
still,
ends of
I
that
will say,
spectrum, but you have to bring them into balance.
Yeah.
That 0 point is
Mm.
where you're supposed
yeah,
to
if you go too
That's
much
not
to
denying either or saying you can't be whatever you want. It's
No.
just saying
an elephant can
We
never be
too.
a tiger, and a tiger can never be a chicken. That's their nature, and they do accept it. But I do believe that a masculine can be a lot of feminine, and otherwise too, within a certain mariadas, boundaries, but not extreme, because then they're all out of balance. Then they're out of balance in my point of view, and then they're not happy. I don't think they can have I don't think it will work.
Yeah.
Maybe it works for the
So,
beginning.
yeah, this is largely my Christian background, not conservative, because conservative is not Christian. It's my Christian background that you accept what God allows. If God makes menish women and womenish men and makes, a flip between the genders, little boys, they like little girls when they're young, they grow up and they like little boys and they like little girls. That's not my business. That's between God and that person, and so what we do agree on is that I'm fine with anybody being anything they want to be. But when a child goes to a teacher, which I think this is the Disney and the education system thing, and they ask a cultural or a personal or a family style question, then that teacher needs to refer them back to their parent and stay out of it. It's like a religion question, right? A child goes to school for education. A child goes to Disneyland to ride fun parks and have fun, and eat nasty food that them. They don't go there to be taught, what the new supremacy group is teaching, and that is where we do agree. Is everyone does it, whether it's the civil rights movement, it's the women's movement, every movement does it, and now it's their movement where they go from, hey, we just want to be equal, we want to be accepted, we just want to, make space for us, and then and once they start making progress, the people who wanted that, they go back to their lives. The extremists take over because it's a power vacuum, right? You got that pendulum that's swinging. And so now what we're seeing is that, they're literally trying to take kids that are straight and they're trying to make them want to be something else.
Yeah, and that is really, really out of... that is the beginning of a destruction of a society. Whenever the boundaries are totally lost, all societies crumble down. That is through whole 2,000 or 5,000 years of history. It's all when the boundaries are lost, everything crumbles down. When women are, it's like the feminine is not strong and the true feminine, and then society also is getting lost, crumbles down. And that is, you have a lot of examples where, when females are not respected, like many times in the East, when they all crumble down, those societies, because too much suppressed by the religion. And those societies don't do well. But when there is a balance, like when native people, of maybe they know they have the balance between man and wife in a very beautiful way. Men have very, very strong feminine, and the women also very strong masculine, but they're basically men or feminine, and they use their qualities to balance, and that keeps a society strong and creative. Because if you're totally out of boundaries, I think you get lost.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah, I
those
think
people,
a
they don't
society
live
strength.
long even. They don't even live long if they have the operation. They don't live long. That there are a lot of troubles.
I think a society's strength is sovereignty. And to clarify, no, Bex, the Freemasons didn't get to me. It's sovereignty did, right? God gave all people free will. And we like to tell other people what they have to be, and that's a problem for me. So, I can't back down that a strong society is about sovereignty. You let everybody be what they want to be as long as they're not hurting anybody else, as long as they're not, teaching your children their culture, then everything should be good. But when we start to tell others what they have to be, and they have to be in the boxes that are comfortable for us, feminine or masculine, and that's when you create a war as a society. That's when society breaks down, because now you're violating other people because you're telling them what they have to be because of your preconceived ideas. That's the problem. That's where balance. That's when the balance fails. Is
That's not what I said.
Yeah. No, but it is, for me, it's the breaking the natural laws. That's for me. It's not mine law. It's a natural law. I don't have anything to say it, but I think it's a natural law. I don't mind if they are that, but I really don't. I would not propagate it. Surely not for children. But
Right.
they're breaking natural law. That is what I believe.
Okay, so in terms of natural law, you can say you have what's called phenotyping and you have genotyping, right? Phenotyping is when you look at the physical aspects of a thing and you say that's what you are because you're a tomato, tomatoes look like this, and you're a tomato. Genotyping is actually looking at the genetic level, right? The breakdown, the 126,000 genes that are, or 26,000 genes that make up a human being, as an example. So when you look at, when you start genotyping, you start to realize there is no definitive man and woman. In fact, to be honest with you, it's all BS anyway, because all men are women. We all are women because we all have nipples anyway to begin with. We all were women to begin with before they stopped growing. That's why men have nipples, which is crazy to me. Like we're things all the time that we literally live in a world that these Rothschilds and Rockefellers created, the religions they manipulated, the scriptures they changed, and dogmas they created to make us go along with whatever their culture was. And I would bet you, if we spent time looking a little bit further back in ancient time, we were more free people where we didn't dictate to each other what they had and had to be. And you didn't have these procedures. So you had, men who were very women-like and women who were very men-like, and some people who physically actually were both.
No, but if history does repeat, then at the downfall of every empire ever in history, transgenderism became a big popular thing in society. So that's history.
Yeah, it's history.
And so
that's history.
But the question is that because we developed so much freedom that we started letting people be themselves? And that tends to be the end of the Yuga cycles, the Kali Yuga.
No.
And it collapsed. Or does that have anything to do with I don't think it has anything to do with transgender. I think it all has to do with
freedom without responsibility. It is not freedom without responsibility.
No, freedom is
right now, nobody is taking responsibility. And back when Roman Empire fell and they had the transgender thing big in the society, nobody was taking responsibility because everybody was corrupt. Everybody was corrupted. And in society as a whole, there were low moral standards. There were more brothels. There were more prostitutes. There was more sex on the streets. There was more cheating on your wife and stuff. to have freedom, you do need a natural moral code.
Yeah, and you need your self-mastership.
Everybody, right, because everybody knows that it is I am part of this, and I have a responsibility and a duty to uphold this. Do you know what I'm saying?
So I hear what you're saying, but you personally have to decide what that code is. You can't dictate to others what that moral code is.
No.
Otherwise, we're no different than the
No.
Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and government. You have to let other people dictate what their moral compass, where they land, and let them live that out. When we start dictating to other people, we're no different than what enslaves us.
Right, but I'm not dictating to anybody. But if you're teaching that in my schools and you're putting it all over the TV, knowing that somehow in some way my children are going to see that in some way, then yeah, I have a right to say that that's fucking bullshit. I'm not saying they can't be whoever they want to be, and I'm not saying they can't do whatever they want to do. And if I cross one in society, I can talk to my children about it. But do I have to have it as even now this conversation? Like, why? Why can't they just be whatever they are? That's fine. But why does it have to be an issue? Right?
Because
why does it have to be the whole thing of like even like letting them play against women? You think that's right? You think that's fair? You think that's fair to all the other women? Women. Why do we have women in men's sports? Because we are not equal in the way that you guys say it. You know,
it's different.
Oh, hang on. I am not with them. Okay. And with y'all. Okay.
No,
I'm with
not equal. I don't care. You can give me up against a small dude. I'm probably still going to lose that fight. I am not an idiot. Women are weaker than men. That's just the way it is. Physically.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify. I am only here with you humans. I am not with any of you. Okay. I think everybody's crazy but me. So, in terms of
women are smarter and more emotionally intelligent. Men are physically stronger. That's the trade-off, okay?
So again, it's back to power, right? In terms of, who can play in what sport, male or female, that was already resolved. We're just pretending it wasn't, right? That was resolved in kindergarten, right? If you were a big girl, grade school, if you were a big girl, you played football, basketball, whatever, with the big boys and big girls. If you were little, you play with the little boys and little girls, right? It's only when we get older, we become ignorant and we think, oh, well, your genitals have something to do with where you should compete. No, it's about your muscle structure, right? It's about the class you operate in. So if you have Mike Tyson fighting a woman because he changed his gender, obviously he's going to kill her, right? It has nothing to do with genitals, has nothing to do with race. It has to do with physical stature. We resolved that a long time ago. So it's BS that anyone brings that back up. But to clarify, in school, I actually don't have any problem with anything they teach in school. And I'll tell you why.
No.
Because it's not school. It never was. It is the Department of Education. This is a place where they indoctrinate children and they ruin them. And I really believe
so then you should have problems with it.
Exactly my point.
No,
because parents cannot, because it's a group thing. It becomes a group thing, and children will say, my parents are not right. I have to follow the teacher and all my peers, and they will be destroyed.
Hang on a second. Let me finish my point, right? I'm fine with it because we should be homeschooling. We should have been homeschooling 100 freaking years ago. And so now that they're cranking the heat up, instead of slowly doing it to our children, they finally crank the heat up and they let us know they own our children. Mm-hmm. People are pulling out of school in mass and homeschooling. And that is a great thing. For them to slowly continue to change things slowly and everyone keep their kids in school, they're going to get what they want. So I think it actually is a good thing. I'm kind of glad that a lot of things are happening around the world. The last 2 years, all the mandates and everything, I'm glad that happened. And to a degree, I'm playing devil's advocate, just to clarify, because I think this is how things are supposed to go. And we need to accept that this is how things are supposed to go, because this is actually what's going to make us better.
Yeah, and when I
Yeah.
said weaker, women are weaker, let me just retract, okay? I don't mean that in a women are actually stronger in the long run than men.
Mm.
We're just like you're better at lifting heavy shit. That's all. That's what I meant by weaker, okay? Or if we got into a fight, I'd probably lose. That's what I meant. That's all I meant by that. We're not
Yeah, I mean, and came alive. If we look at really what is happening, that in the room we're all women first. Men are created for a reason. You know, like there's a reason why they a baby, you know, through epigenetics, God, whatever you want to call it, it decides that, you know, we need this one, like with a frog, right? Because, you know, again, they can flip genders, they can do anything they want to do. That's nature. For whatever
But
reason,
that's chemical poison, I think. It's more the poison that makes you a transgender from beginning.
let me finish. Christine, stop it. Stop.
Sorry.
We can't cut it. People, there's a 3-second delay in between Belgium and here. People don't know that. That's why I'm like, they're not getting it. Anyway, point is that so if we're all women first, and then our bodies decide for whatever reason that no, we don't need this to be a woman. We need this to be strong, it not to reproduce, maybe not as smart to make a man. And so at that point, we shift and we become these men things. And I think that to me should be shattering a lot of people's ideals of, you know, the whole phenotyping thing we do as opposed to genotyping. We need to look deeper. We don't know who we are. Remember this, we are a species with amnesia. We don't know where we came from. We don't know why we're here. We don't know what altered and made us. We're just trapped in these social construct, highly social engineered environments where they tell us everything. And then we go off and we fight our whole life for what they tell us. We don't know anything.
I know it takes a boy and a girl to have a baby.
Change that. I agree with you.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what.
And about the thing, I want to say something about the thing that God creates transgender. I don't think it's God's doing that. It is the poison we take. And it is, I know from a nurse, when a woman in pregnancy is extremely traumatized, she gets that kind of children, or but she has experience. It is not God's doing. God doesn't create. It's perfect. What God creates is perfect. But what man does to destroy, that's man's responsibility. I don't think. I mean, that's what I believe.
Yeah, I think it was documented that you have people with multiple genitals going back well before we created glyphosate, before we created all.
They're called hermaphrodites. I met one.
Do those things increase? Absolutely. They definitely increase with all the toxins and poisons and all this stuff. But those people have always been here. And that's the whole point, is that, you know, I do believe in the universe. I believe in soul. I believe in God, whatever you want to call it. And I think whatever it does is perfect. And if it makes men that have feelings like women and women who feel like men, I think they're perfect like everybody else is. I don't think we have to fit a social contract to be perfect. I just stop and disagree with them when they start dictating to other people's children or society how everyone has to be. I think we just have to make room for them. Like I agree with Dave Chappelle in his point, which is, you know, we have to agree that everybody's having a human experience. Everyone's got their own cross to bear. I thank God every day. That's not my cross to bear, right? I'm a male and I've only been attracted to females. And that makes me fit in society very easily. But if I had a different cross to bear, you know, that's a real difficult thing to swallow. I just think that we just need to fall back and just say, you know what? You're having a human experience. I don't understand it. You know, I realize that, you know, LGBTQ are trapped in this BS, in that they have a few leaders of their organizations that are driving the supremacy. They're the ones who are creating all the problems. The vast majority of people who are LGBTQ have nothing to do with this politics, right? They have to learn.
I agree with that.
They're not Democrats and Republicans. They want to be left out of the political BS. They want to be left alone to live their lives, you know. And so that's what I'm saying is, I don't get caught up on either side, and I do my best to make sure I always fall in the middle. I accept you for who you are. I don't have to agree. I don't have to like it. If you leave everybody else alone, we're all good.
Okay,
That I
one-
believe. I mean, we don't have to judge them, but for me, it's just a very strong imbalance. But it's not on us to judge them if they really are like that. If they really, I mean, they suffer. I mean, they suffer. If a man is if a man is born, but he has a mind of a woman, they suffer. If at least, but yeah, the reason is for me is I think it's imbalance, but we don't have to judge them because it's I mean it's difficult enough when they're young.
yes.
So in our society that's true. You are right about that. But still I think the cause is imbalance, but that's my thing.
Yeah, no, hermaphrodites have been around forever, and so they have. So they have like tissues of both, but it says they have both ovaries and testicles, although the testicles may not be on the outside, right? But the one I knew had like a badge, but her I'm gonna call it her love button. Her love button was like a tiny penis. That was their hermaphrodite. We're all different, and it's like a little mishmash in there. So, and it's only 1% of the population, and like hermaphrodites could have been way left out of that conversation. And two, Gerard, for some reason, you just made me a villain. Like I was trying to tell people what they can and can't make. That's not what I was saying.
No, actually, we agreed. I didn't make you a villain. We actually we agreed on the vast majority. I mean, you and I have talked about this before, so it's not like a big deal for us. But we actually agree. My problem is at the end of a movement, the supremacists take over, and the rest of the people don't want that. The rest of that community, they just want to blend in with the world and be left alone.
Yeah.
But it's the extremists that they push for these laws, they push for these mandates, they push for this stuff that pisses everybody off. Now, it's two different camps fighting each other, and that doesn't make any sense to me. You got the ignorant few at the top on this side, the ignorant few at the top on this side, and everybody else largely just has to be left alone. So I just think we make room for everybody. I think 7 billion different religions on earth, and there should be. Everybody should have their own moral compass, their own faith, their own belief systems, and not, fall too deep in the dogma of how we're indoctrinated. But
what it boils down to is just another agenda for power.
Yes.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's like BLM. It's the same thing. Like, why were they allowed to burn down cities in January 6th? Oh my God! Because people who are just like, problems in our community, the police are shooting us, we need help. Those people are largely silenced by the people who are like, oh, it's only the black community needs help, and police only black people, right? And it's the extremists, but again, they get the microphone because the average person who's like, we would like for the police, and here's a good example, right? Both sides, the left and the right, they both don't want a police state. One doesn't like it because they feel that they're a little more impoverished and they're abused by the police a little more. And the other doesn't like it because they believe in the Constitution and all these laws are unconstitutional and the government can't have private armies. They literally both want the same thing. But the way the news and the media spins things and the people at the top gets everyone upset, they're fighting each other, but they actually want the same damn thing.
Let me say something to follow up on that. In 2008, when the left took over and the anti-war movement died, when Obama got in, and they went to complete sleep, as we know, for those 8 years, and they've been asleep ever since then, as Obama and every subsequent president has bombed the fuck out of a dozen countries. What that tells me is that the left didn't want a new system. They just wanted to be the new master on the plantation.
Absolutely.
That's what it told me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This issue and all the issues that you hear about in the media are exactly the same. It's just a will to power.
Oh,
right.
Wait, want to hear something great? Want to hear this great, right? So So there was this senator from Illinois. I just want to tell you a story about white privilege. So there was a senator who was well known from Illinois, right?
Mhm.
And he got elected to the highest office ranking position ever in the world, right? Called the President of the United States, right? And then this is white privilege at its finest. So then he armed a rebel group in an African country, right? And got trained them with the CIA, and then got them to overthrow an African country's rightfully elected leader, right? Who was really doing good for the people, and then torture him on live TV, right? And then had one of his little minions laugh about it afterwards, which directly led to an open market slave trade where Africans are bought and sold every day till this day, right? And yeah, and his name, that white privilege guy's name, was Barack Obama.
Yes. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, when it's not. It's like now Putin must be the boogeyman. It's the boogeyman, like the worst boogeyman. But yeah, and he didn't do anything. I mean, he didn't have to, in 20 years no wars and things like that. I mean, and but now everybody think, oh my God, that's such a dictator. And meanwhile, they don't see that the West is much more worse than Russia. Russia, everything is cheap in Russia. I know a friend, I mean, Oila, the wife of Elias, she says in Russia, the basic is very cheap. The basic products are very cheap, so everybody can afford it. But if you want to get, then if you have really more money, then you have to do more effort. But for the basic things, they can have it. They really live very nicely, much more than we think, because what we are taught, how they live is not true. And she can, because she lived like all her life in Russia. She's just only 2 years in Belgium.
Yeah, I mean, we literally got 900 bases, admittedly all over the world, and that's what we admit up to. And by we, I mean the United States Incorporated. You know, I appreciate Susan the form of explaining it like that. It reminds me of what was the name of that movie where at the end there was a court case? Was it To Kill a Mockingbird? I forgot. Where he kind of explained about this little girl being raped and beat and bloody, and at the end,
Time to Kill.
Right.
Time to Kill.
And fortunately, we got to get creative when we talk to people, because people, it's so hard for them to see outside their little filtered glasses that the greatest colonizer on earth was probably the Obama administration. You know, now I don't presidents make any decisions. I think they get slapped around like little biatches and told what to do by the industry, you know, but they definitely got away with more. They literally recolonized Africa with African. At the same time, like Susan explained, they killed Gaddafi, so Africa would not have a gold-based currency, so the African would remain third and fourth world countries with puppet governments that the United States mostly set up. Like, he literally was the anti-African on earth. If there's a such thing as an antichrist, the Obama administration was the anti-African, but people still think
and the Antichrist at the same time.
Right.
I think he was, you know what, Susan? I mean, Pluto, like you told me, Pluto just entered in Capricorn when Obama was chosen as president.
Oh yeah.
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 See?
Yeah, because he's smooth, and they thought that he'd be able to hide the lies that were going to be brought out. But
it's okay when you bomb brown children in orphanages if a black man does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
And you can drone bomb civilians. Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see
on
here.
weddings and on birth parties, everything.
Weddings,
and
hospitals. It's fine.
I love killing, he says. I love killing. I'm good in killing, he said. And it was all okay. All the left was still cheering.
Hey, she doesn't say mean things in tweets.
No. See, but guess what?
Exactly.
I didn't read like 10 years ago. I mean, I read, but like I just turned on the news like, oh, that was the news for today.
Susan was still learning her ABCs 10 years ago, everyone. Did you hear that?
I've come a long way in 10 years. But no, seriously, I was just like, oh, Obama's good. Like,
but it's true. Everybody got, he was a master in deception.
Sanders,
Mhm.
after Bernie Sanders and that whole shit in 2015, 2016. It's like, dude, this world is fucked up.
Yeah, it's true. We discovered very late.
Yeah.
Because after a while, he was a master in deception, extremely good master in
Yes, he
deception.
was.
And he has Neptune, I think, trying with his son in his with 7 and 10, so he can really deceive people very well with a big smile and kill them nicely, and everybody is still happy.
He's
Yeah.
classy.
So
He's a
he's classy.
classy war criminal. He's a classy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was smooth as shit. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, he was on TV like, hey, the banks just robbed all of your money. But what we're going to do is tax you more so we can give them more money.
Right.
Everybody was
Right.
like, yeah, Obama.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true. And they're the devils. The devil is always
Yeah.
present himself
Right.
as the most nice,
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but
Crazy.
Definitely.
yeah, and
Mhm.
and now they do the same. Yeah, they want to have but I think Russia is already winning big time. If
Oh,
you have
yeah.
the real news, Russia is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putin would not have done what he did without
Yeah.
him being really sure that
Exactly.
Yeah.
my objectives are going to be met, and they are. They really
Yeah.
are.
But I didn't know this. Okay. So apparently, Zelensky was given the option for peace, right? And he
Mhm.
was like, look, just withdraw. So wait, Russia's, first of all, they've been revoked. So
Yes.
before that, what was it before that? I forget now. But anyway, so Zelensky, so even as recently as February 19th, some dude from Germany was like, look, just say that you're not gonna, just don't join NATO,
Mhm.
right? And before
Mhm.
that, Biden and Putin signed some friggin' decree.
Yeah,
I
it was
forget
on.
the name of it. Yeah, but they signed that treaty saying that Ukraine, hey, if you don't join NATO, both of us will have your back. Meaning, like, they could have called Russia or USA
Mhm.
to have their back.
Yeah.
And Zelensky
Right.
was like, no. So, yeah, this is some setup shit. This is what
Because-
they
Yeah, it's
want to
totally set
happen.
up.
They want World
It
War
was on-
III.
That's because
Yeah.
Zelensky
And
is
you know-
100% a CIA puppet. He
Yeah.
is a 100% CIA
And-
puppet. They don't have a government.
you know,
the
the
CIA
Kremlin-
runs the Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what
And
the
you know,
real
the
secret-
prime minister from Ukraine, he already knew that he could get a war with Russia if he doesn't
Yeah.
join, if they will similarly join NATO. And said, okay, let's
Right.
do that. And then I asked, then he said, yeah, but you can never win to Russia. Yeah, we just take the risk. And then he says, but the biggest thing we will have that we can defeat Russia, although like most of our citizens will die, that doesn't matter if we just defeat Russia. Just like that, very cruel. Like
Mhm.
it just was on with Aaron Matei said it. Aaron Matei is very good on GBR.
Yeah,
So
he
like
is.
it was really planned already long before, from 2014
Yes,
actually.
yes,
Sure.
it was planned a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Mhm.
who knows? Russia could be in on it too. Like I said, the whole world's a stage, and none of us know what is real. None of us know if bombs really drop. None of us are there, so none of us
Yeah,
know.
but, yeah.
All we got to do is go by the TV, which I even know how to edit shit now. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
mean, not at their level, but come on, all we got to do is pay somebody $100 an hour, and they'll
Yeah.
doctor up whatever they want for you. So
Yeah,
you
but
know,
but now even the New York Times recognizes that the atrocities who are so called done by the Russian is not true. It's the New
Oh,
York
yeah.
Times said if they already recognize that there's a big lie, then it's really like all really like BS a lot, all the news. And I think Europe will not join because Europe is not joining and NATO is not joining the war. They only send weapons which they don't know how to use. Those people.
Mhm. Right. Well, the black market arms dealers are just making a killing, buying up all of the
And
weapons.
they kill their own people.
Yeah.
They kill their own people. That's
They're
the
just-
Azov.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
the cruel. They kill their own people.
yeah, but see, here's the thing. Whoever really runs everything, and I don't know, maybe Putin is a little bit like me. It's like, hey, I don't like reptilians. I want to be free.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
think
I
so
don't
too.
know. I don't know. You might, I don't know. But also saying is like this to me, even the world where everything, one, they have to collapse the dollar in order to enslave us more into this slave mind. And yes, that transgender stuff being pushed on our kids, that's because in 20 years they want transhumanism. They want people with no genders at all, so they can just make you in a fucking lab and you have no soul or control over your conscience or free will at all. So yeah, I think this is all because it's all part of the plan. The world
It's an agenda. It's a part of the agenda.
They want complete freedom. They want complete freedom and a blank slate to rewrite human consciousness the way they see.
Yes, they do.
But that is the beginning of destruction. I mean, it's already on destroying.
It is. It's demonic. It's demonic.
It's demonic. Yeah. So in that case,
anything that is opposed to reality, the way the universe works, is demonic, and it is.
Yeah.
They want to go totally
a slightly
against
different perspective. Yeah, I think it's all just about whatever you don't like. Anything you can do to get people fired up. Like, they find out what the public isn't ready for or what they don't want, and they promote it because they know push people in two different camps. They're going to fight each other, and no one's going to look at what corporations are up to, which is transhumanism. So I don't think the transgender necessarily has to do with that. I think they know that, they can piss people off and irritate people by pushing certain things on their children, like even with segregation. It was the same thing. Like, I don't think they care about integration. I don't think they care about transgender. They don't care about white. They don't care about black. They don't care about Democrat nor Republican. All they care about is people fight each other and ignore what the greater agenda is.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Harvesting our souls, eating our babies. That's what I mean. Like, it sounds crazy, and it's funny to make a joke, but seriously, it's real. It's so fucked up. And it's
well, the scary
heavy.
is
like, I don't understand because like I say work because that's what holds up our society. Us going out every day to job, whatever job that maintains society, right? But seriously, that's as easy as it gets. Like, we don't have to fight anything. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to. We're like, we make the cattle. We make the beef. We grow the food. We do this. We do that. We do everything. So fuck you, people. We're gonna do it for ourselves. That's all that is. Like, I'm not going to work anymore. I don't care. You know what I mean? And like, or just go to work and just like work with each other. And like, I don't even care about your paychecks because you don't really run this place, dude. I do. You know what I mean? That's as easy as a fight it could be. But we don't do it because we don't trust each other because we're scared.
Yeah, true.
And also, natural law doesn't have to be written down, and a natural law society moral code doesn't have to be dictated because it would be inherently known in our brains when we.
It is normally it is innate. If you have really it's innate. What is good and wrong is innate. So it's not that, and if you just allow it, then But man law is always the opposite. It's all. I want to say
my best. I'm gonna try to tie it back to ancient knowledge, the topic, which is awareness. Our problem is power. It's always been power. It's always when we claim power over others, we just keep reliving this cycle over and over and over. That was the collapse of Atlantis. I mean, we just literally have to learn how to get along and leave each other alone.
In the trilogy from the Lord of the Rings, there is the only one who can defeat that Sauron is the hobbits because they don't have the longing for power, and that was the secret. That's why Gandalf chose them because they didn't have the longing for power. They were just happy in their little nice villages and having nice food and things. That was the only thing.
Sauron, just like the Cabal, cannot deal with anyone that does not seek power. He can't fathom that Gandalf or the leaders of the West would have the ring and then want to destroy it. That is completely beyond his puny mindset.
Yeah.
Because to have power and not to use it is a sacrilege to him.
Mm.
He can't fathom that. And these parasites that run this planet only have one thing on their mind, and that's power. And to actually throw away power, just to be at peace and at one with yourself, and to live within your means, they hate that. Why?
Mm.
Because in doing so, we're saying we don't need your power. All I need is to take care of myself and to live my life.
Yeah,
I don't need
freedom. Yeah.
I don't need any of those structures, those institutions. If I want to, and if I want to collaborate with my friends and grow our own food and clean our own water and do all of that, what do I need you for? What do I need a Department of Education for that's going to come in and tell my children that they about whatever at the age of 5?
Yeah, and also because they're so influenceable, then they will take it as truth, and that is the danger.
Right. Children are impressionable, and you bet the elites know that. The cabal knows it. That's why they want to get a hold of our kids.
Yeah,
mine,
I was taught that I was free in school, and that was a lie.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I was taught that the Constitution was still effective and in action. That was a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
And that end up, Susan, right there. And that's when I stop. And that's why I don't give two damns about anything that's happening in the world right now, because it's insignificant. The hobbits were the most powerful group in the world in the Middle Earth, because they were the only ones who did not want power, and they can walk away from anything, right?
Yeah.
So
they didn't give a shit about it. They didn't care.
All they cared for was each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same American is, if you're willing to walk away
with community, that would be so fun.
If you're willing to walk away from society and give up all this power, you are the most powerful person in the society. And that's the power of grid, is that you literally have said, you know what? I'm a slave. You breach every contract that you taught me in civics class. Your whole system can go to hell. I can do this all on my own. And so that's where I stopped, Susan, right? What you said. They had a contract with us. The contract was in civics class, that you would have the freedom for the life, love, happiness, the pursuit of happiness, your Second Amendment, your free speech, your First Amendment. Every single amendment, they burned them all up to hell. So if they breached the contract so badly, I have no interest in what, I have no interest in their laws. I have no interest in their legislators. I don't give a damn what they news. I'm going to go live my life, and I'm going to tell them to go to hell, because they're the ones who breached that contract first.
Yeah.
So
we owe them nothing. We owe them nothing.
No.
They have lied. They have manipulated us. They have claimed that we gave them consent without disclosure. Consent without disclosure is not consent.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Sorry.
and they do it openly. They openly cheat. They know. I mean,
do. They do.
But the thing is, the people are so brainwashed, they don't see it. But everybody can see it, but they don't. Most people don't see it yet. But you know what is very important? There is a rally in LA from Del Victory against all those 10 laws they want to introduce. And that's very important, I think, because if they get introduced in California, then they will be all over. I mean, and they try it also here in Europe.
What is this? What are they doing in California?
Gerard, I mean, he knows because he saw Del Victory too. But I don't. He's frozen.
He's frozen.
I thought he was
reading. Man-Kate and the cuckoo. Thing.
Yeah. Oh.
The donut.
Yeah, you know the 10 laws from California.
Right.
Gerard. From that Del Victory was going against. I have a big rally in LA in California. 10 April. So tell me which were the 10 things, the 10 laws they want to introduce. But I don't know them by heart, but you know, you maybe know.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
He's swanging.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to reboot this. 'Cause
Anyhow.
I don't know what the hell's going on. But no, yeah, I mean that's about the donut, right? So that
Yeah.
every business in California has to mandate the donut in order for you to work for them. So I mean, I think there were other things because I attach other things
Yeah.
to it.
Like 10,
You know,
yeah,
and
10 laws.
I kind of go back to great thing. I appreciate what Del Bigtree's doing. We need to stop with pharmaceutical slavery. Like it makes no sense that we're going to give up cotton slavery to pick cotton to go to pharmaceutical slavery to be, willing test subjects for any drugs they want to put in us. I hope it, I think they stopped it, if I'm not mistaken, but I actually don't care. Because again, I don't care what they do. They can do anything they want to do. And the minute they try to make me do it, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I'm fine. This Earth, I love Earth. I have no issue. I love being on Earth. But if I have to live Earth as a slave for cotton industry, for rubber industry, for big tech or big pharma, then go ahead and let's do the Harriet Tubman thing. All right, let's go ahead and do the slavery. But I'm not going to live one day under any more of this enslavement. Doesn't matter the industry. Doesn't matter what they want.
Okay, wait. Okay, cuckoo test. So everybody here, I had to have surgery, and it went down in like 3 days. And it was no big deal, but yeah. So anyway, you have to have a cuckoo test. You can't get out of it. You have to have one. Okay. So this is the show. It was the cuckoo show. It was freaking great, guys. Okay. So I had to get blood work done, right, for my blood type, which comes from Palladians, I think. Anyway, does A positive. So anyway, they had to do blood work and the cuckoo flu. Okay. So they take me back to the room, and it's like, a room, but the one wall's open and it slides the curtain shut, right? So the curtain's not even shut. Curtain's wide open. Okay. And she takes my blood pressure, the pulse, oxygen, and then she takes my blood, right? Oh, we have to wear masks because we're in the hospital and everybody's cuckoo shielded at the hospital, right? So
Serious?
I'm already panicking that I'm going under with all these people that complied and obeyed and picked money and know less about biology than I do. So anyway, I'm already panicking. Right? So anyway, so they do the blood thingy, right? And then she's like, "Oh, you gotta get the cuckoo test too." Okay. So this is my blood, right? This is my blood. And she was just regular with a regular old cuckoo mask on. Okay. So then when it came to the cuckoo test, she shut the curtain. She got out glass goggles, put the glass goggles on. She friggin' got out the N95 mask. She went and put it on. The strap broke. She took out another one. She put that on. Right?
Oh my
and
gosh.
then, she's like, up my nose and everything, right? And then she took it all off, and everything was fine again.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, for my blood, she's just like smoking a cigarette. Wide open.
What a show.
But then the cuckoo came and it was like, oh, everybody locked down. It was so funny. It was great.
Science has become a religion.
Yes.
Science has become religion.
Yes.
It is. And
Yeah.
in chapter 1 in Genesis, thine cardiovascular disease is thine virus, right? And that's the whole point. Here's cardiovascular with cuckoo shot. Like people are clueless and ridiculous right now. It's Branch Covidian. It literally is completely 100% based in blind faith and nothing scientific. It is 100% a censored religion. Just how they censored the Bible. How do they religions? By keeping scrolls out of the Bible and altering them. They're doing the same thing with science. They're literally keeping science from ignorant people, and they're just having a little show, which is fine. They can be mermaids or big. They can have whatever procedures they want. I actually don't care until you affect my life, and that's the only reason that I even speak up is because too many very ignorant people still have microphones that lead to what just happened to Susan.
Yeah, but see, this is why society has to change, right? Because right now, all the hospitals are in the hands of of the donut eaters, right?
Mm.
Like, and we need hospitals. I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying, yeah, we need a total refresh of our medical treatments
Mhm.
and stuff. But like, you know, because I was thinking about too, like herbal remedies and everything. Like I tell my mom, I'm like, you have to do it every day for 8 weeks before you see results. It's natural. It takes time. It's not, you know what I mean? Like we want instant fixes. That's part of our problem with the medical industry too. But I'm just saying we do need medical industry. And right now, that's why as a whole, we need to change or separate and let the other ones just self-destruct because because we need things in society like we do. Even if we went back to small tribes, you still need a healer in that small tribe. You need
True.
somebody that has some basic
Yeah.
medical things, you know?
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to take this shit back,
I
man. For real.
Like the education system, I think it's good. I'm kind of glad that some people are like controlling things now, right? What is that? That's that group name in the movie Dune. Right?
Yeah.
The chemical people, they've taken over everything, and I think that's a good thing. It's so many people want to go back to being herbalism. They're eating organic. It's a great thing. Again, and that's another, education system thing. When they show you that they don't give two damns about you, they only care if you're in their religion, then that's when you jump out that pot. And so a lot of people are jumping out that pot and they're getting healthy again, and that's what.
Yeah. Smaller communities, and then like, you know, in your neighborhood, like in a little area, you know, so many square miles, there has to be at least one doctor or nurse. There has to be at least one school teacher. And then you make like, okay, at my house, you can have 10 kids here and teach them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it
And
was
like,
it
you
used
know,
to be
and
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
it used to be like that. Not so long time ago, maybe 100 years ago, but it used to be like that.
Mhm.
And
It,
Yeah.
I know
it
the
literally,
father from
And
the father
you know,
it was like
schooling was all
Right.
local. One schoolhouse,
Yep.
one
Yep.
kid, you know, and the parents hired the teacher.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
actually what that's
Mhm.
when I was in Kanajohari in America. It was like that. We had 15 children, and it was very nice because you can. I mean, we could do whatever we want. I mean, we had our yoga. I mean, it's basic the philosophy from our group, but then we teach what they want. I mean, they give what I told last week. I think if you observe them, then you know what's there going on in their mind, and then you take it out, and then you teach them about, or you get things out of them. It's not like they teach us and we teach them. It's mutual, because there's a lot out of
Yeah.
little kids. So much little kids have more fresh minds than older kids. Much more
yeah,
original. Really,
Yeah.
you have no idea how much wisdom is still in them if they're not too much touched by education around. It's really wonderful.
yeah. Aren't most kids like scored as geniuses when they start
Yeah,
school
I think
in
so.
kindergarten, and then that number drops to like 7% or 5% or something by the time they graduate high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's taught out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Oh, yeah, because I looked up today. I didn't know this, but Jonathan, I know you knew. So the etymology of knowledge is gnosis from Greek, right? And that means what is it? Learning, or I forget, but it's from observing and experience. That's where knowledge comes from. Not from being able to repeat what somebody else told you
True.
over and over again. It's
Right.
from your own personal, it's like a knowing from your own personal experiences and observations.
Yeah.
well, that's why the education since ancient times, it was classrooms no bigger than 5, 10, tribal, like the biggest, and they would teach their children to critically think, right? They would teach them not what to think, but how to think. Why? Because when they grew up, they had to take care of the tribe. You had no time for anybody teaching, the next generation bullshizzle, because, Bible was, the strength of that tribe was based on that next generation. So we're in like the biggest, the biggest experiment in the human race by putting children in places called schools, away from their parents, away from their uncles and grandparents, and letting total freaking strangers that aren't even in their tribe, not even in their culture, don't even have their belief systems or religion, teach their children. This is insanity. That's why I'm again, I can't wait for the education system to collapse, because it's not an education system. It's literally a indoctrination engine.
It's Orwell world. So what their intention is the opposite of what their stated words are. Everything is like that. Department of Defense, Department of Education, Department of Welfare and Health and Human Services. All of those departments do the opposite of what they claim to do.
Yep.
All of them.
Yes.
All.
Totally.
Every
trap.
None of them are for you. None of them are for the human race. None of them are for citizens. They are all profit departments from for-profit corporations. Their bottom line is money and greed. End of story.
Yeah, greed is the biggest. Yeah. If the universe would be twice as big, still there would be not enough for those powerful, hungry men.
Greed is like an empty void. It'll never be filled. They'll never be satisfied. You can't. It's like the black hole.
It's a spiritual disease.
Yeah.
It's a disease.
Well, and so the fun thing, I spent a lot of time talking about climate change, because you guys all in this green the desert, fight desertification, and it's all Jonathan's fault, but that's not the point.
What did I do? What did I do?
It made me fall in love with dry lands, man. You made it obvious that they're not deserts. Dry lands, if you're not stupid, you know where the cool air is, and you know where the water is, you know how to collect it, and you can make a forest of it. And just, and I kind of knew about greening the desert. I never really focused on it till you really pushed in that direction. And so I have to appreciate, I appreciate that, man. You've given me my new mark of life, right? And so right now is climate change, desertification, destroying the deserts. And that's what we've done. We created dust bowls. Yeah, but what's interesting
artificial.
That is endless greed, how Christina said. So, the fact that we have an economic system, it means that we will eventually burn this planet all to hell, and it literally is baked into the model. You have a bank account which is capable of endless greed, and so everybody's going around. The vast majority, they all want to be the billionaires. So everybody's trying to take and shove it in their bank account, and that requires these corporations literally loot and pillage all of Eden. And so. I think that when we start really thinking at a root cause problem level, we start realizing you can't have money on earth. You can't have an economic system. You can't have a career. You can't have job-based systems where we work for free for the few because they print the money. And, their job is to provide for the consumer, which is literally shaping nature to bring things that make people smile and their lives convenient. Our future is we're going to go extinct if we continue with consumer and money, consumerism and money.
Yeah, it's that deadly class. You can't make it to the top of the ladder in this society. You can't make it to the top of the ladder without becoming a sociopath.
Yeah,
the ladder is made of humans.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to eat babies.
When
High five, Christine!
Yeah.
Christine got an eating baby thing in.
The more successful you are, the more psychopath you are, the more of an economic psychopath, the more people you stepped on to get to the top. That's not anything to be proud of, having a lot of money, having a good job. That's something that you need to be. I can't say that because they're going to say I'm a violent person. but you need to have, I don't know, a banana shoved in your butt or something. I don't know, but you're stupid.
That's how you know that sociopaths
Chicken
run your
George.
world.
Stop thinking,
is
oh, I
when
just
they-
fight more chickens for
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was not clear. You say, Jonathan. Yeah. You got interrupted.
The values that are taught, the values that are propagated by media, by education, by science, by politicians, by all the institutions in society, those values reflect what we think we are. And what we think we are is a reflection of what they want us to think we are.
Right.
Mhm.
Because it's a reflection of what they are. And what they are psychopaths. They have no conscience.
I'm
Mhm.
You want me to say it?
literally
Yeah. Who is the mayor of
They
Chicago?
eat babies.
And you know, I saw it on Jimmy Dore again. It was good.
It's the world that they want to create is a reflection of their own mind.
Yes, that's true. And you know the one from Chicago, what's her name? That lady who was senator of what? Yeah, she said to the homeless people, "Go home," and the homeless people
Maxine
answered,
Waters.
Maxine.
Yeah.
"We don't have a
She told
home."
the homeless people to go home.
She told the homeless people to go home,
Let
but
them
they
eat
were
cake.
very alert. They said, "We don't have a home," so and she got scared because they were surrounding her.
Yeah, I know.
I love Maxine Waters. I love Maxine Waters. Can I tell you why? I love her to death. I'm not getting it. This is antithesis. You know, the harder we get hit, the better we become. I love her because when all this started, she was the one who actually convinced me that this is all bull. 2 years ago, when all this started, we need to lock down, we need to do that, wear your face diaper, blah, 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 blah. She introduced that bill for the digital dollar. During the beginning of some pandemic thing that was going to kill off the human race, and she was told, because again, I don't think these politicians make any of their own damn decisions, to introduce the digital dollar. What do you mean introducing a digital currency and the world's about to come to an end? That we need to shut the whole world down, but you're trying to introduce it. And then someone else tried to put it in the cuckoo virus bill, which made it out this has nothing to do with anything in the air. You know, they literally were relabeling cardiovascular disease something else. And that the whole intent is to break the country, break small business, destroy people's income potential so that they can introduce a new deal, which is a new currency scam with the digital dollar. So I appreciate her. I appreciate people that are so stupid that they actually do everything. All of it.
And that is why they are pushing for war, because a war collapse is the perfect cover up for the total collapse of your economy and bad decisions.
And the petrodollar will be collapsing. Yeah.
Outages, it's all a great excuse. So that way, when the people are so poor and destitute and broken, they can
have
say,
no other
we
choice.
have digital currency, here's how we do it. And then you think you're slaves now?
Wait till you're much. Wait till your children get on a.
That's the fucking problem. Wake up! Tired of being a slave awake by myself.
This ancient knowledge. I actually got to go eat breakfast. So.
That's good.
Oh, we didn't read that one damn quote. So we didn't read one quote.
That's for next week.
So, well, to a degree, though, we said we're gonna, start reading comments more, and so they kind of drove this a little more than we did, But we got to somehow tie it back to ancient knowledge. Does somebody want to take this conversation, tie it back to some ancient wisdom or a quote?
Yeah, next week, Kahil Gibran. I'm gonna find the book because I like him. He is very deep, very, very deep. But there's no transgender.
All right. Well, then I'll just leave it at this, that the children are the future. And
Yes.
if you turn them over psychopaths, expect a psycho future. You know, we do have to go back to ancient ways, which is you need to raise your own children and you need to educate your own children in small communities to go in the direction you want them to go, the direction that you believe, and get away from centralized everything. Because power is the problem. Anytime you centralize power, we always become the next Atlantis.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, but you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
all right, you guys, I gotta go. So,
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
say goodbye to the people.
bye.
Y'all have a great day.